everyone, this is Miss Dubian, your guidance teacher. In this video, we will talk about the second part of our topic, Grief is Real, How to Manage Grief. If you haven't watched the first part of this video, which I highly recommend, I provided the link below so you can watch it also. But before we continue, we will just have a detour to talk about the types of grief for you to have a deeper understanding of this topic. So let's begin. You heard it right. There are types of grief. In fact, there are so many different types of grief because we are unique human beings with different ways to experience emotions that are difficult to understand. Therefore, grief can exhibit for many reasons and it is normal to do so. I will just present here the most well-known and often experienced types of grief. The first type of grief is anticipatory grief. It deals with the fear of what the future may hold. It also deals with the fear of unknown. It is related to anxiety and the fear of what comes next. Kung sakaling nakakaramdam ka ng matinding anxiety o kalungkutan that the future might turn bad due to pandemic, then maaring you are experiencing anticipatory grief. What are we going to do if we experience anticipatory grief? Remember in our first video that there are things that we have no control, and one of those is our future. So, let God take control of it and let's focus in our present to make it better, to have a bright future. And then, our next type of grief is complicated grief. It is characterized by irrational thoughts and may also be expressed as avoidance behavior. This grief type focuses on the feelings of loss that are long-lasting and disrupt your ability to do daily activities. It may develop into self-harm or mental illness if the griever does not get the support they need. Cumulative is another type of grief. It refers to the feeling of loss one experiences when there is a chain of negative events, one after the other, following a loss. For example, one of your parent got ill due to COVID-19, unfortunately died, and then shortly you lost your job and acquire also the virus. You're not yet done grieving with the loss of your parent. A second and then third loss just occurred. This can be very damaging to one's psyche. The next one is disenfranchised grief. This occurs when society attempts to invalidate the grief of individual. The loss isn't often recognized by society as being worthy of grief. For example, your pet dog died. Not all people naman recognize the value of having a pet dog. Another example is when a person you lose committed suicide. Some people consider to grieve for that person is insignificant. As a result, grievers suppress their emotion because they feel no one understands them. The fifth type of grief is traumatic grief. This is a condition in which a person develops trauma symptoms related to the loss of an attachment figure in a way perceived to be frightening, horrifying, or unexpected and violent. The last type of grief is delayed grief. This happens when the grief symptoms and reactions are not experienced until long after the loss or a much later time than the normal. For example, a person got bankrupt of his or her business due to pandemic. Hindi siya nagkaroon ng time to grieve for the loss kasi his or her family depend on him or her to be strong. Then lumipas na yung panahon, pag naalala niya yung loss of his or her business, he still feel extreme sadness and affect his or her well-being, which means this person still grieving na delay lang. Once again, these are just a few but major types of grief we can experience due to loss. Unfortunately, the current culture has often made grief felt insignificant. Without the ability to acknowledge this grief, feelings of anger, sadness, or loss can arise and be misattributed to other issues. May mga instances kasi na nag-a-assume tayo na may anxiety disorder or depression yung isang tao. Pero kung iintindihin nating mabuti, maaring that person is just grieving. Therefore, we have to bear in mind that grief is a normal process that we need to go through for us to attain healing from our loss. Moving on, let's back to the main topic, how to manage grief. And also, if we are experiencing any type of grief, then what can we do to deal with it? First is, take a time out. Take some time off from work or daily responsibilities to process your grief. Establish a reasonable timeline so your grief will not run your entire life. Kailangan nyong bigyan ng sarili nyo ng panahon para makapag-grieve. Doon sa time na yun, pwede na kayong umiyak ng todo, magluksa, at ramdamin ang kalungkutan. Para sa ganon, gumaan ang inyong pakiramdam at unti-unti na kayo makapag-move on. Next is, make an inventory of your strengths and coping skills. Think about your past struggles and painful experiences you've been through and identify the skills and strengths that help you recover. For sure, meron kang nagawa before na maaaring makatulong sa sitwasyon mo ngayon para malampasan ng maayos ang pagdadalamhati. Focus on positive thought. When we think about our loss, we are also thinking about the situations tied to that loss. Instead of entertaining the negative thoughts, choose reminiscing your happy memories. In other words, mas mag-focus ka sa mga magagandang memories o pangyayari sa buhay mo at iyon ang ibaon mo sa iyong road to recovery. Next, continue to take care of yourself. Maintain your healthy lifestyle, eat healthy food, have time to exercise, and always make sure to have enough sleep. Kung mahilig kang kumain ng healthy food, nag-exercise ka before, ipagpatuloy mo yan. Ngayon, kung hindi mo ginagawa yan, okay, it's about time to take care of your body. Out of this chaos, your body is yours and you alone can control and can take care of it. Next, keep moving. Movement is life. Okay? Galaw-galaw pag may time, baka tayo ay ma-stroke. Okay? Meditate. It allows us to notice what we are feeling and thinking without having to act. Balance is the key. We need to balance our attention in and outside. Do not spend too much time in social media. Go outside if it is possible. What's next? Get support and stay connected. Surround yourself with supportive people because we need others in order to grieve. Don't let social distancing prevent you from getting the support you need. Use your phone to call, text, video chats, and social media to stay in touch with the family and friends who are positive and supportive. Also, try to reach out to those who are grieving or in similar situations. Pets are big help for emotional support also. Sometimes, you let your grief keep at bay. Most of us really do not have time to grieve because our work, our responsibilities, and other things that we cannot just set aside. Consciously give yourself permission not to grieve so that you can turn your attention to your life. You can put your grief in an imaginary drawer or any container that will remind you you are still grieving. This will be helpful in reorienting yourself to the future setting. Next, make a suitable routine and embrace new experiences. A routine can help preserve a sense of order and purpose despite how much things may have changed. Include doing new things because it can give you a sense of meaning and pleasure in your life. find ways to honor your loss. There are several ways to honor a loss or one's feelings about loss. It can be rituals. Our routines have rituals of our life that serve as a container for our emotional and spiritual experiences. And it created a structure that supported the rest of our internal lives. Due to loss, it is stripped away from us and we need to create new rituals in honor for our loss. Other examples are artistic expression, ceremonial practices, finding a new way or unique way to do a celebration, creating a symbol of positive memories that you are able to look at as much as you would like. This will also help you reframe your experience in a way that allows you to move forward with more peace. Find the meaning and always look for the bright side. Learn to reframe every situation to focus on the positive. Always try to search for the reason why this is happening to us in a positive way. Okay? A verse in the Bible says, "And we know that to them that love God, all things work together for good, to them that are called according to His purpose." Last but not the least, if you think that the process of grieving is too overwhelming for you and you try your best to work it out but still you feel you are failing, then don't be afraid or feel ashamed to ask help from the mental health professionals or a counselor to assist and to guide you in the process of grieving. Unti-unti na po nating alisin ang maling perspective na ang pagkukonsulta sa mental health professionals or sa isang counselor ay para lang sa mga malalang kaso ng mental health problems o para sa mga may hina at di kayang i-handle ang stress o mga challenges sa buhay. Alisin na po natin yan. Asking for help is not a sign that you are weak or that you are helpless. It is an indication that you are in control of the situation because you made a choice that you need assistance for your grieving process. To emphasize my point, I would like to borrow a quote from Les Brown. Ask for help, not because you are weak, but because you want to remain strong. Grieving is a highly individualized experience because it also depends in your personality, coping skills, and how significant the loss was to you. Moreover, every person has different timetable to grieve, so the process takes time and healing happens gradually. In other words, kung ikaw mabilis mong malampasan ang grieving process, it does not apply to everybody, like your parents, siblings, or friends will have the same outcome or experience. Some people begin to feel better for weeks, but others it would take months or so many years. Whatever your grieving experience, be patient and allow the process to naturally unfold. Thank you for watching this video and I hope you learned from this topic. I will appreciate if you're going to like, comment, or share this video. See you next time. Till then, and have a blessed weekend.